Hello. Is your mic working, Chris? Uh-oh. Let me see if I can... There we go.
It wasn't plugged in all the way. It was just the tip.
Oh, dear.
I actually didn't think my mic was going to be working. I needed to change the cable.
Oh.
The cable that came with my mic finally, after like 6 years, stopped working.
Oh, my God.
So I had another one handy, thankfully.
That's a
man,
good cable. So here it is, the making of the Gary's Mod Sanbox map tier list. I don't know how many viewers we have right now. I think
we could let it simmer. We could let it simmer for a moment.
Yeah.
Before we get going.
It's all good. We got just one viewer right now.
Probably me.
Oh. Yeah. That would make sense. Let me make sure that the sound is all working.
Let it simmer for a...
Okay, seems fine. Oh, hell yeah. Somebody just sent me a new banner to use for the stream, so I'm going to chuck that in.
Somebody wants you to say Bogo's Minted. They're your biggest fan, apparently.
What?
Okay. I think...
Say, Bogo's Minted? It's pitch shifted, so I can't really do it naturally, but that's okay.
We need,
First, oh my God. Red, I didn't even know you were awake. I was trying to get your attention in the call.
We need some royalty-free breakbeats.
Oh, shit, we do. First stream on YouTube to get 1 more billion viewers.
This is going to be the first stream to get 1 trillion views.
1 trillion views.
Concurrent. We got aliens watching the stream.
Well, welcome everybody. We are going to be ranking, as technically suggested by my friend Sylvia on Twitter. She suggested I make a Sandbox map tier list, the Gmod Sandbox map tier list, and Sixth Sense woke me up. And I decided, you know what? I'll make it a video. But then I realized, you know what? It should also be a stream. So I'm here with Chris to help me out. And also I'm going to be taking suggestions for maps from you guys. Stream the full Morbius movie. And then once the credits roll, get terminated. Hell yeah. That'd be a great final stream.
That would be, if you knew it was probably going to be your last stream, that would be a great way to go out.
Yeah.
Shout out to the guy who streamed Morbius on Twitch and got banned. He streamed it for like 12 hours straight. So that's like what? 6 times? The movie was streamed 6 times in a row. I don't know how it took him that long. I think Marvel was just happy that people were watching the movie. So they let it go a little longer.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Would not surprise me either. They're probably going to make a sequel. So get ready for that. Morbius and X.
And the Wasp.
Sure. Morbius and Ant-Man. Why not? Let's do it. Morbius and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh my God.
The next movie.
So I have Paint open. Is there a way I can just crop this?
Dude, we need some tunes in here, man. We need some sort of background.
Edit transform.
Trying to find some like.
I just can do crop, but it's really annoying the way that I would have to do it. Is there like a crop tool? Crop the window capture. I'll figure this out in a second. This is not a crop. This is a transform. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. You guys are gonna have to deal with the whole
It adds to
whole paint layout. All right.
adds
So I
to the
guess we should
experience.
start with
Yeah, you got a list or something to
like-
go off of, like.
not exactly. I'm gonna find like a few. Hold on. Let me get the let me see if I can get the map icons, so to speak. This looks like the Gmod 10 version. I don't want that.
Here we go.
You got a tier list maker or what? Or like a list?
There's probably a wiki, and then the
So-
wiki will have Sandbox maps wiki. Let's see.
We're gonna decide what the size of these is.
Oh yeah, we got
Going
some
with
bangers.
160 by 160.
I think
Okay.
that it shouldn't even be limited. Like it can be limited to just Sandbox, but I think like some RP maps could be thrown in there too, because like you kind of already play Sandbox on those sometimes.
Like Evo City and shit.
Yeah, like Evo City.
I
There's
wonder
like
if anybody's done
downtown
RP on,
V.
I wonder if anybody's done roleplay on fucking Big City. That map is not very
Probably. I mean, it's almost like kind of made for it in a way. There's
Kind
just
of.
not that many like interiors of buildings. That's kind of what you need.
People probably had like modded versions. I guess we'll start
Yeah.
with the defaults. Should we count like Gmod, the old Gmod 10 versions and stuff?
I think anything goes, really,
Okay.
personally.
It's gonna be 160 by 160. Look at a nice little. I would use the spawn icons or whatever, but
Dude, the flatty wood sign.
yep. So, what are we thinking for GM construct? Where do you think that should go?
I think it needs to be S tier. It has to be. It's the classic. It's the original. It's what most people remember when they think of Gary's mod. They're probably thinking of that map. So definitely has to be S. I think anything lower would be a travesty.
Yeah.
But like, it depends, because are we looking at it technically, like from a mapper's perspective, or are we looking at like just how we experienced it and
I
what?
think I think what we could do is we could break this down into a rating system. We
Okay.
could. I think my uncle's soul is in GM construct. Oh, well, then it's S by default.
Dude,
Let's
I-
use the first criteria should be iconic. How iconic is it on a scale from 1 to 5?
yeah, that's if we're just going off of like iconic, then
Suitability would be like how well does it work as a strictly sandbox map?
yeah. Because like if you go off of nostalgia, then this has to be S tier. Has to be. 'Cause it was the first map. Not only was it the first map made for the game, but it was it's the first map listed when you start the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say easy S tier. Yeah, and I found this this sneaky background music for videos, suspenseful and comedic, no copyright music.
Awesome.
So that could be, if it's not going to be too intrusive, it's sneaky music. sneaky background music, suspenseful and comedic. So I would say it's ideal. Okay, so yeah, I think we're both in agreement here that construct is S tier.
Yeah.
When you told me about this, the first map I thought of was construct, and I was like, "Yep, that's probably gonna be S tier. Anything lower would be a travesty."
Yeah. So I'm thinking right now for the criteria: iconic, suitable, and beautiful. And these are just some meters that go from 1 to 5, and we'll rate those.
Okay.
We could add more though. I think 3 might be of too few.
Yeah, I mean, I think 3 is almost enough because then you got your like overall weighted score.
Yeah. That could be like an average.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel like GM Construct in its current form kind of gets 5 on all 3. Because it's iconic, obviously. It's incredibly suitable. You got all sorts of areas for different types of like sandbox activities. And you could pretty much do anything on GM Construct. You could turn it into like a deathmatch map. You could turn it into like just a place for a bunch of contraptions. You can do water contraptions. You kind of cover all the bases. Beautiful. Well,
Sure.
I mean, that goes without saying. It was one of the first maps to use Gmod 13's like new skybox system, and it really shows. They wanted that map to look amazing. So I think GM Construct is pretty much just full S overall.
The one thing, if we're really looking at it technically, the one thing that I would ding it for is suitability, only because sure you have like enclosed areas, you have a tall building and like a couple medium-sized buildings, but for the stuff that you're trying to do most of the time in Gary's mod, which is like pretty grand scale sort of things, the map allows for it, but you know it's almost outdated in the sense, like, obviously they're not going to expand on it because it would just ruin a map that is perfectly fine. But I think it could have more of a variety of like buildings, interiors. Like that would then make it like true S tier in my opinion, which it's already an S tier map. I'm just like nitpicking since we have these more technical ratings, but I would almost anything it would be like a 4.5, like
and that's still pretty high.
Negatable. Yeah, like it's still an S. Still an S. So I think that's pretty much settled. Shout out Gary's mod. Construct.
Yeah. As for Flatgrass, Flatgrass is interesting because it's beautiful and it's iconic, but it is a little situational. I feel like the low amount of like interiors and stuff. I think Construct has a lot more variety for taking your stuff to like smaller places. You only really have the bunker in this, and it's not much. So I don't know. I would put it maybe right behind Flatgrass just for now. Not Flatgrass, right behind Construct just for now.
Yeah, I think this map was for the nerds who knew how to like just make different kinds of shit, like with the welding tool and stuff. And I really wasn't that kind of person. I was, you got some guys who will really push Gary's mod to its limits in terms of like things that you can make. And I think this map was probably the best for that situation. But if you're really just trying to have fun and like explore a map and do different things on a map, then yeah, that
You're getting called, mate.
yeah, it it's a good map, but not for trying to like explore and shit like that.
Yeah. This one's gonna be quite the quite the pick. This is gonna be probably kind of hard to find a place for amongst everything. Well, maybe. Big City. Oop. I think he just went AFK. Yeah, he did. Big City. My personal thoughts on Big City are, well, I mean, it's certainly a big city. I like Big City. I think it's very iconic. It's largely suitable for sandbox activities. The only real underwater area you have is that sludge plant or whatever. But I mean, you know, that's still kind of suitable. I don't know. I feel like it's about where Flatgrass is in terms of suitability. But it is absolutely gigantic. So, you know, there's that. And beautiful, I would bring that down to maybe a 3. I think GM Big City looks good, but it doesn't look amazing. Like a lot of the buildings are like extremely blocky. There's barely any doors. Even the doors you can go into are just flat textures on flat geometry, and there's no real door there. And that's okay, but you know, if you compare it to other Gmod maps, it is a little uninteresting visually. It serves its purpose as a big city. For now, I'll just put it right behind Flatgrass.
Yeah, I'm back, by the way.
I was just doing Big City.
I think Big City that's my favorite map, my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's like the one I've played the most, probably.
Yeah, it's a good map. Just loses some points because suitability. You don't have like much for like water contraptions. A lot of areas are just wildly open, which I think is useful. The roads also are a great touch. So as far as like suitability goes, it's all right, but it's, you know, about Flatgrass tier. I'm knocking it down further than that though, because as far as beauty, it's not really much special. It shows a grand scale, but if you look close at everything, it's just not great.
Yeah. Plus, it's like a little excessive in its size at times. It's like, okay, I don't need this much space. You already kind of have the big, you know, open area when you spawn.
Yeah.
All the extra bits are like pool, I guess, but there's like so many buildings, and you can't really get into many of them. There's only a couple, so
yeah,
I agree. But I still think just like overall,
it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite maps to just go on to if I'm feeling like just messing around in Gmod really quickly and like spawning in dupes and stuff. But also at the same time, usually I want to go and play some variant of Big City instead of Big City itself. So, you know, those variants tend to give me things that regular Big City doesn't give me. So, you know, I think there is something to be said about that. All right. So, also, if you're wondering, what the tier list means, S for silly. These maps just go silly. A for awesome. B for based. C for cool. D for decent. E for ugh. And F for fuck it. Not actually, but I mean, you know, you can use that if you want.
Yeah. All great. Silly. Because you really do get silly on the best maps. Like, that's when you start to get silly. You make silly contraptions. You get silly with pack 3.
Oh God, pack 3.
Get silly with with your model.
Yep. Silly with the
So-
sex poses like it's JB mod.
Yeah.
I remember when I remember before they had dupes, they had the duplicator tool, and then they had the advanced duplicator from WireMod. That was crazy. You could just download people's dupes from garysmod.org.
Dude, garysmod.org. Game Banana, formerly FPS Banana.
It's weird. I never went to FPS Banana for Gmod add-ons. It was always garysmod.org or like using Tortoise SVN to download shit like Pack 3 and WireMod. Or I think it might have been Pack 2 at the time. It's crazy how how much better the workshop made everything.
Yeah, workshop rules. I remember when that came out, I didn't really understand what it was until I I think Skyrim was the first game that I really dabbled with it, but I ruined that game. But anyways, you could also ruin Gary's mod pretty badly. I tried starting that today, because I hadn't played it in like a year. Tried starting it up. It took a good solid 5 minutes to like get to where I could click something on the main menu. It had to load every mod. Yeah.
Toy Box,
yeah,
was
dude.
amazing.
Toy
Just being
Box.
able to
I remember
load it,
that shit.
Load stuff in live.
Dude, Toy Box. That was like when I first. That was like when I got Gary's mod. I know you played it earlier, but like,
Yeah.
Toy Box was what I can really remember. Yeah. I couldn't remember what it was called. Thank you. Thank you, Pizza Pinklets.
We gotta stuff more maps in here. Let me think. The guy who made Big City also made 2 other maps. GM, well, actually, technically 3. GM, I don't want to say Butts. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
How is it spelled? Or
It's like Butts with an Buttes.
Buttes.
Yep.
Is this guy foreign?
I don't know.
Oh, I never
Canada,
played that one.
So yes.
That looks like some Star Wars shit. Looks like
Yeah.
I'm on
He also made
Tatooine.
a night version. I haven't played this, so I don't really have much of a bearing on it, honestly, or much of an opinion. I have played GM Atomic, though, which is another map that he made. And I didn't know that he made that map until just today. Well, not just today. Sorry. A few weeks ago.
This guy's a liar.
Yeah, he made Buttes and he made Atomic, and he also made Big City. But I haven't played Buttes, so I don't really have much of a opinion. Atomic was cool. Or is cool.
I remember playing it. I always played it when I had like a shitty computer. So that map ran like shit. Not gonna lie. So I'm introducing a new rating, I don't know what you call it. Performance might, but I mean, these days most maps are fine. It's kind of just very specific to me, but I do remember it running kind of bad.
Can you put down the entirety of Half-Life 2 on the list? That'd be pretty hard. Half-Life 2 has a lot of maps,
dude,
and I haven't played those in a sandbox context.
But if you're just
that would be great.
Hey,
though.
if you're talking just rating, ranking Half-Life 2 levels, oh dude, we could go for 5 hours straight on that. I mean, I think there's a lot we could talk about there, but maybe we'll save that for another stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atomic though. I remember. I don't really remember all of it, but I just remember it kind of didn't utilize its space too well.
Yeah.
Kind of had like the big city sort of problem, but like I think that's kind of by design because you know, he might if they're just
it's
designing it for like,
post-apocalyptic.
yeah, that too. I would give it a B tier, probably. That's just me though.
I'd say it loses some iconic points. I could put it in A. I I almost feel like as far as suitability, I almost think it's better than Big City simply because you have way more interiors. You have that entire like rebel base.
Bunker. There's that whole bunker, I remember.
The bunker, the rebel base, the gas station.
True.
Just like there's like windmill and stuff. And obviously it gets extra points for being beautiful. Because, I mean, that map like looks great, especially for the time, the 2012.
Throw it in A.
Yeah. Throw it in A. I would say it loses points just for being less iconic. Let me try and find a good
I always thought it was by the guy who made like Evo City. I always thought that was kind of the same like mapper. Because I guess because it had like a gas station and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know it was the same guy. Hey, shout out to that guy though, because
big wig,
dude. He
a little shiny. Man, Evo City's tough because there's a lot of This is a new version of map. What the hell?
There's that one version. If you start listing them off, I'll know the one that we played the most.
This one is V4B, which I've never heard of.
Nah, it was like V2, I want to say.
Yeah, Evo City V2. There's a bunch of like... This is V2P. I don't think that's it, but it looks similar. There's so many versions of Evo City that it's like it's hard. Oh, I think I know what it was. It was V33X, I want to say.
Yeah.
Has to have been.
Sounds about right.
That's a really good map.
That is a very good map. I mean, this is
I mean, remember we're weighing these based on how suitable they are for Sanbox rather than how suitable they are for something like TTT or Dark RP. Because this map would probably go crazy on obviously it's designed for Dark RP. But yeah, I'd say that as far as being iconic, this is like all the way at the top. As far as being, as far as beauty, I mean, it looks phenomenal. But as far as suitability, it's a little niche for Sanbox purposes.
It's pretty big, and
it's big, but also a lot of that space is occupied by things. So you don't get a whole lot of opportunity to just have big places to build your own stuff.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to give this like a 2 out of 5 for in terms of like suitability.
That's fair, honestly.
It depends on what you're doing in Sanbox though. That's the thing. That's the tricky part of this rating, cuz like there have been so many I just think about like Gmod videos stuff that have been like made on this map, and like all the different interior. It's really good for interiors, let's just say that.
Yeah.
It's really good for like if you're trying to do stuff like that. But like overall, like in terms of suitability, probably 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I guess we could just place this at, what do you think?
Probably
A, B?
Probably A. I would say it has to be A, because it's like if you're gonna put Atomic at A, then you definitely have to put Evo City at A, or else it's gonna have to be one or the other, you know, or both, you know.
That's true.
So I think that's a good place for it.
Mm. Did you ever encounter the Gman virus thing? I didn't ever get any Gmod virus because
this is the Gman virus.
Well, yeah, I know. There were a good few Gmod viruses out there. I never got Gman. I remember I didn't really play multiplayer around the time that was spreading, and the only times I did play multiplayer was like when I got into TTT. I had a TTT kick for a good while, and I didn't catch anything from there. I remember the cough. There was the cough virus that was pretty freaky, but I never joined any. That was when I had left my Gmod multiplayer phase, aside from just hosting. All right, let's sort by most popular maps.
Yeah.
Most popular of all time. Well, these are... There's no... There's no way that these are the most popular maps of all time.
Can you send the list you're going off of?
Yeah, I'm just looking on Steam Workshop.
Oh. Yeah, no.
I mean, Big City's on here.
You can kind of just scroll until you see one that you know. These seem like really recent. There's some old ones sprinkled in there.
Ooh, there's Free Space.
Ooh,
Free Space is a classic.
Dude, this is... I'm saying it right away. There's no debate that this is S. This is like... I would say that's the most... Other than Construct, because of what it is.
Would you put it above Flatgrass?
Oh, definitely. It's like a better Flatgrass.
Yeah, but that's how I feel.
It's like improved Flatgrass if you could improve it.
Would you put it
I mean, when I look at tier lists,
that's right.
The order in which they're listed, it doesn't really an S tier is an S tier, you know, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had to rank one above the other, then yes, Free Space above Flatgrass, only because
it also looks beautiful.
And we've had our best. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's also really beautiful. It's very suitable. I mean, it's got that big pool of water too, in case you want to make anything underwater. You could role play with it lightly. I remember I would play on I think I played on a modified version that people had made for the Stronghold game mode, where you build your own base and shit, and you got to fend attackers off. That mode was cool, and also I think this could work for like light roleplay, like a small community. It's kind of like a small like continent. You got some houses and stuff. You could have some small businesses, some small living spaces, and also it's just. You know, I know we're ranking Sandbox, but I mean, you know, some people like to do that sort of thing in Sandbox. So,
I remember having the most fun I've had on Gary's Mod Sandbox on this map.
I remember the thing that I would usually do the most with this was use G-bombs and just fling bombs around different areas.
Yeah, dude, Me and Landy invented Headcrab golf. It was the most spur of the moment thing, but there was this add-on. It was uppercut add-on or some shit like that. It was like some uppercut swap or something. Or no, was it upper? Yeah, that's what it was. It was like super punch. It was like an uppercut. And it would send whatever you hit like flying super high up and play like a sound effect or something. And we would spawn a headcrab ragdoll at a certain point. And if you look at the picture, there's like that tower kind of thing. You'd put the ragdoll on top of that, put like a little prop out in the field to like mark distance, and we would just like hit a headcrab as far. Dude, just thinking about it just makes me want to do it because it's so fun. You just hit a headcrab as far as possible, and whoever hits it the farthest wins. And I think you had like 2 tries or something. the most fun you can have online. Better than TF2, for sure.
Valve listens in and is just like, ah, shit. Well, we're just not gonna fix TF2 anymore.
Dude, we can't fix it. They're like, you don't understand. We can't fix TF2 anymore. We have to make Headcrab Golf into our first official release since Portal 2.
Oh my god.
Or I guess Half-Life Alyx. I always forget about that game. How could you actually forget about it, though? It's a great game.
Or CSGO.
Oh, yeah. I forget. Okay. Well, I'm wrong. I'm just an idiot. Okay? Back to the maps.
I remember we would measure the distance with ropes. We'd we'd spawn a rope from the Headcrab to the quote unquote hole. And
yeah,
because we were having trouble like judging distance, so we started drawing ropes, and it made it easier.
Dude, there's something primal about that game, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the equivalent of like ape people, Neanderthals, like throwing a rock as far, like who can throw the rock the farthest.
Yeah,
the most primitive of games, but really damn fun. I'm gonna go get a drink. You find the next map. Be right back.
let me think of some other maps. Oh, oh, this is a banger. Oh, when Chris gets back, this one's gonna be a banger. I had to find some more music. Let's try royalty-free breakbeat like he was describing.
Me and the boys, we gonna keep on rocking. Is that all right?
Royalty-free breakbeat sucks. It sucks. It's terrible. You can't find any songs. It's the worst.
as I've swiftly found out.
It's terrible. It's like one song and it's 4 minutes long. That's why I settled with the sneaky music. It was the only freaking. No, we can find something. Just play freaking. Just play George Clanton. Fuck it. I'll take the copyright strike. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a map that's I think instantly you're gonna put pretty high up. GM Mobinix.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, another free space style map that kind of just to me expands on what Flatgrass could have been. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of. I forgot how big Mobinix is because they have that train station thing. They have the bowling alley. And the bowling alley surrounded by this like really like old style Gmod map architecture where you just have these buildings with like glass windows at the ceiling and stuff like that. And just like these interiors that don't mean anything at all, but you can just add stuff to them yourself. You have that entire like racetrack too, and I think that racetrack also goes into like the mines. And there's also it's also like a cave digging system in the map, which is incredible.
Fuck, I don't remember that. You might have been on Salvia when you were experiencing that.
Yeah, there is an area of the map where you can like it's really primitive, but you can dig tunnels. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I remember this. I played on this map, but I feel like I didn't play on it enough to give it a true ranking.
Oh god, this is tough. I would certainly put it above Big City, but I don't know if I'd put it above Flatgrass just because we're also rating it on visuals and suitability. Suitability for Sanbox, it really depends on what you look for in Sanbox, but also we're trying to cover all grounds here. Like if you're a builder, you've got a few spaces, but not really a whole lot. If you just like to goof off and just specifically do map activities, like because they have a racetrack built in, and I think they even have. I think they might also even use custom cars. I really forget. I haven't played this map in a hot minute, but it is a. Oh yeah, I like this.
Get some smooth jazz. Okay, we're going for a coffee house vibe here. What would you like to order? Oh, you want a chai latte? Okay, but at this cafe, we throw the hottest liquids possible on your face, just straight, and then you get to just enjoy it that way. So, Candela says Strem Day. Yep, it's Strem Day.
In terms of beauty, I'd say it's above. Man, is it above Flatgrass? I don't know. I feel like the variety kind of automatically gives it that essence. Definitely not above Construct and Free Space, because it does look a little base Half-Life 2-y.
This might sound a little harsh, but I think this map is just asking for a B ranking.
Why would you say that?
Just because, Jamie, pull that up. Pull up I want the 6K. Look at it. Yeah. Okay. Notice the structure. It's got like you said, it's got the base. It looks like Gary's Mod 1.0 just came out. Kind of blocky looking. And from what I can just see, I mean, obviously,
I would put it. I feel like I would put it above Big City in terms of the looks. Maybe not above Free Space. Maybe not above Flatgrass. Let me find some other screenshots of this.
This is the first time. Okay. All right. Now we're talking. All right. It's a little prettiness. You got the little. It almost looks like we're in Half-Life 2 Lost Coast.
Yeah.
A little bit with the rocky cliff side and the pathway down into the very Half-Life 2 airboat level type buildings.
Yeah, I think the main problem is just the lack of geometry present, because you've got these really smooth rails, but then the things on the side of the rail are blocky. Here's another screenshot. This is of the beginning of the race course.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that race course is like, it's that's there on the map, and it keeps track with like the board and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's sweet. Yeah, that could be an A. I think that's an A ranked map.
The bowling alley's great.
Yeah. All right, I'm talking out my ass, dude. If it's got a bowling alley that works, we gotta. Okay, first off,
it's also got this,
dude,
the rave room with like selectable music.
I remember that specifically. Okay, I had a totally different view of this map. I think this could be an S, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, my main problem with this in terms of the ranking. Also, here's the tunnel building area. I don't know if it shows built tunnels. Here's one of those areas I was talking about that reminds me of like older Sanbox maps where you just kind of made structures for the sake of making structures in the map editor.
Is that just like? Is that even accessible?
Yeah, you can go down into there.
Oh, can we play that map later? Damn, dude.
Absolutely.
I want to play that.
It's this window. It's this door over here.
Yeah, dude. That's sick. Okay, well, this is an S.
Is this little hotel thing? It's got a lot.
I remember that too.
Oh my god, I was right.
Pieces.
I was right.
I feel like
there is custom cars that are just part of the map.
All right, so basically, this is the greatest map of all time.
It's close. I'm gonna knock it down bit, just because like in terms of like just doing the usual goals of Sandbox, which is to do like your own things. It's not that useful. I'm gonna put it, I would say, below free space, but above Flatgrass. Just because like the amount of things to do in the first place puts it just slightly above Flatgrass.
That's what made it most impressive to me, because like now that we have more of these maps laid out, we're kind of seeing a collective view of like what we played most when we were younger and or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what kept you coming to the map? And this is like, I'm kind of contradicting myself because I really didn't play this map that much, but like what brought you back to the maps the most was like the amount of shit you could do in them.
Yeah.
Shit that was built in, you know, like you get Evo City where it's like kind of cramped, but when you could find those maps that struck the balance of like, it lets you breathe a little bit with its like, with its size, but also can pack in the extra things to do. That's what made a good map. And I think like it would, that's gotta be S2 just because of all of those things. Definitely. That was like a story arc right there. I was not a fan, and then you convinced me. You turned me around, dude.
Yeah.
That was.
The most I remember about people, like just playing it with people, is that more than if I was hosting and I asked what map we wanted to go on, it was always a 50-50 split between Big City and Mobinix.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you have much of a connection to this map, but there's GM Highway 14800.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
This map's great, but it's also kind of tailored to one specific thing. It does have a lot of cool stuff though, like a gas station. It's got very, very driving heavy. I would
Just like, dude, Gmod mappers back in the day. Yeah, this map has a gas station in it, and then all of a sudden you look and you have 15,000 downloads. I don't know what was up with gas stations, but every map worth its money had a freaking gas station in it.
There's that tower that you can't actually climb unless you no-clip.
We played this a few times. The loop-de-loop was the big attraction, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That loop-de-loop is like untouchable.
But right now it looks like I'm looking at these apparently the guy who did the thumbnails for the Halo maps took these pictures because these all look like they could be fucking Halo maps, especially the one with the highway sign. Yeah, but any map with a loop-de-loop,
like Mombasa or something.
Yeah, any map with a loop-de-loop was fucking sick in my opinion. But if you said you couldn't even climb the tower,
you can't
because you had to no clip. Yeah,
no-clip.
Okay, I see. There's no walkway up. Well, that's kind of pointless. I mean, I don't know. I think, with all things said, this to me now, we gotta crack the B ranking, because like, it's obviously not a bad map. It wouldn't be downloaded that many times if it was bad. But
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do kind of a bold move. I feel like we move Flatgrass down to A. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I agree. Just because
it's just kind of like it's 2-0.
What could you really do on it? Yeah.
you could do literally everything if you just build it entirely yourself. But like, who wants to do that in a lot of cases?
You're looking at two guys who absolutely did not do that.
Yeah.
When they
if I want to
played Gary's Mod.
if I want to build like just literally everything, then I'll play like a game like Blockland or something where building it isn't like that kind of weird like weld everything together. Because the cool thing about Gmod is that if you have some interiors, then you're good. You can if you have some interiors, and you can actually, I almost want to knock it down below these other two.
Yeah, I think it's out of all the maps we've ranked, it's the worst.
What do you think, chat?
I wouldn't even use the word worst. Like, it's because we're talking about like it's like trying to pick your favorite child.
Yeah.
But from a technical standpoint, like, what are you gonna do? Spawn a big roller coaster dupe? Like, if you're, and that's just like how I would play it, because I don't.
Yeah, it's only really for like people who build like the most grand things.
Yeah. I don't know.
Kind of niche. And then I would put Highway 17 over Big City just because I feel like it offers a lot of the same things, but it looks better and it has a better driving experience, I would say. I don't know. What do you think? Putting this over Big City. It's less iconic.
Like I said, like for me in my head when I'm doing like a tier list, if it's at like they're all pretty much equal in their ranking, but like individually, I'm just very biased. So like I've played Big City the most. That's like the map we always played on.
I think Big City is gonna win out then, just based on the merit of being more iconic.
Between the two of us, 10 years ago, almost to the date, man. I think Gmod 13 had just come out. Gary's Mod had some new life breathed into it, and I just remember playing Big City, playing the new Flatgrass. Good times, good times. So for me, that map's almost untouchable, but man, Flatgrass got knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
Doesn't really lend itself too well to our ranking system.
Yeah. I'm looking around for other maps. They have the Eric Andre show set, and it's completely destructible.
Okay, we gotta play that too.
Yeah.
Just like, if anything, this stream has made me realize that Gary's Mod still fucking rules, and I want to play it all the time.
Here's one that I don't know if you've played, but it's pretty interesting. GM Black Mesa Sigma.
Yeah, we played that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Good map.
It's a good like. I think it occupies the same space as Evo City for me, where it's absolutely gorgeous. Has a lot of places to go. Maybe not a lot to necessarily do. In the same way that Mobinix does, but it's got a lot of places to go. I think, though, in terms of suitability, it doesn't lend itself too well. I don't know. I feel like it's roughly between Evo City and something like Big City. Somewhere between there.
If you like water stuff, this map lends itself very well.
That is true.
For that. So that's an interesting thing, because all the other maps we've listed so far have not really been that great for it.
Yeah. Nope, I'm being called. Give me just a moment.
Yeah. So this map, I'd say, Depends on who you ask. If you do like water stuff, if you like building boats and stuff like that, then this map may be one of the best. To me, I would give it a good A or a B. Because you don't want to overload the S tier. I think we've picked most of the classics. If you're just talking, Sanbox. But I'm thinking A for this. I don't know. It's hard because I don't have the amount of hours that I've put into certain maps. It's like, it's like a cliff chart. It severely decreases. So I don't know if I'm being fair, but yeah, A, maybe a B, depending on, how I'm feeling. But yeah, if anybody's played this map, let me know. Okay, because our host is gone, and I don't want there to be any dead air. So if you've played, what was this map called? Black Mesa something. If you recognize the map, let us know. What would you rank it? S tier, possibly? A, B, C? Surely not C or D or E or F. I say A or B. See, Landy's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, well, it would be S tier to me because look how gorgeous it is. Okay, well, first off, maybe you just like how Source looks. Yeah, maybe you do. Well, when I play a game, I like to play it, not look at it, buddy. Okay? Got it? Low B. Yeah, you know what? That's probably fair. You've probably played the map more than me. High C. Okay, now you're just talking about the juice. Because ain't no way this map is a high C. You gotta look at how many downloads this map has. And come back to me. Yeah, Gmod was a game that I used to see. I used to watch like Gmod Idiot Box and like Kitty 0706 videos, like Gmod skits and stuff like that. And I always wanted it, but I never really had the computer for it. So it wasn't until I was like 12 that I got to be able to play it. But okay, Landy's back, and he's gonna say, "Yeah, I think this is S tier because of just how pretty it is."
I mean, I was gonna say like A or B.
I was thinking B, and somebody in the chat says B. He says a low B. High C. He got into the high C territory, and I'm like, okay, come on, we're getting a little too low here. we're come on.
Nav mesh. Oh my god.
See, now we're getting nerdy.
I didn't even think about the nav mesh. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a good
time to piss. Explain what nav mesh is for the layman.
Nav mesh is just it's in the most basic terms, it is the way that NPCs move around the map. If a map has a bad nav mesh, then the NPCs are gonna just be stupid. If it has a good nav mesh, the NPCs will know exactly where to go. Like, if you have like a bunch of Combine soldiers, they'll know exactly where to hole up and take cover. Well, sort of. The Combine AI kind of sucks, but yeah, I didn't even think about nav mesh. That's a good point. Okay, yeah. If the nav mesh is bad, well, that's kind of a problem because I don't know about the nav mesh of any of these other maps then, aside from the bigwig ones and possibly Mobinix, because and also the default maps. Because the default maps are, I think they're pretty good with the nav mesh, even though there's not really much there.
I don't think we should get bogged down with like that because we're already getting pretty specific as it is, and like.
I mean, I think it's part of like suitability.
Yeah, And if the nav mesh, like for this specific, like since we were already kind of on the fence,
I would put it in high B.
B,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, like high B or mid B, just because, like, I don't know, a bad nav mesh can be the difference between, like the nav mesh can be the difference between, like, building a really good shootout and an absolutely dog shit shootout. So, I don't know. But then that's kind of an issue. I know that the bigwig maps have pretty good nav meshes because that was one of the things he focused on. In the description of every single one of his maps, it says fully noted for AI.
Dude was just a bona fide mapper.
I wish he was doing more.
A source mod god. Gary's mod connoisseur.
Yep.
Innovator. Legend. He could just drop it today and be a legend. And you said he's not mapping anymore?
I don't think he's mapped in a while.
Yeah. Well,
what are we thinking for the next map now? There's a map called GM Layer that I'm seeing, and I have it downloaded, but I have not played it.
oh, there's well, I don't know. Would you count? Well, hold on. I'm looking. Because there's more maps. I mean, it's just I need to jog my memory here. Because there's like, you get into the weird maps where it's like made for something else, but you also played it a lot in Sanbox.
Oh, here's GM Layer is S tier. I haven't played GM Layer, unfortunately, so I can't put it straight into S tier.
What about that
I don't have an
GM
opinion on it.
What was that GM? It was kind of like what Big City tried to be, but it was more it leaned more into the city kind of aspect and was like wasn't it like GM York or like
GM York.
GM York, is that what it was?
GM York.
But are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That would be a good one to talk about. Cuz I've got some bold opinions about it.
About GM York?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's think about it.
This is one of those, if you saw the thumbnail, like just that screenshot, you're like, well, what's special about that? This map, it's like kind of, if you think of like
it looks like
a
San
city.
Andreas.
Yeah, here you go. So,
oh yeah, I've played this.
from a beauty standpoint, it's like a Windows PC versus a Mac, you know? Like it's ugly, but it gets the job done. Okay? That's a Windows PC. You want to be pretty? Well, that's, you might work good being pretty, but the second I got to fix you, it's going to cost me, right? Now this analogy is getting too deep. But this map's ugly as fuck. Let's just say that. Look at that repeating texture on that pipe.
That's like 2 on the beautiful
That's like
scale.
1 to me. It's like kind of.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
We're bordering on like this guy like made maps for Half-Life 1. You can tell, and he tried to work with Source, and it was like he didn't utilize the new tools that the new engine gave him. Ugly ass map, but let me tell you, when you play this map,
yeah, I'm remembering this.
There's shit to do.
It hits different.
It hits different.
It's good. I would say, yeah, beautiful 1, suitable. I think could easily be like a 4. I mean, it kind of sits in like Big City levels of suitable.
But slightly more than Big City because you have like a lot of water.
A lot of water, a lot of is there more interiors? I forget.
Yeah, there's some interiors, but it's not the focal point of the map. I'd say this is like a big city that you can do more in, just in general.
Mm.
But it's not as pretty. So it's like it's the yin and yang of city maps.
I'll put it. This is tough. I'd say maybe it is certainly at least. This is tough because. In terms of it being iconic, I'd say maybe a 4. Visuals obviously 1.
I would
it's
agree.
On a scale from 1 to 5, by the way.
Yeah.
A because it kind of ripped off Big City. All right. Would you put it above Atomic?
No, I don't think I would.
Above Evo City?
No, definitely not. I'd put it above
Flatgrass.
Flatgrass, yeah. Because Flatgrass is like, dude, it's had a fall from grace in this stream, but rightfully so. I mean, when you just take all these maps, stack them against it, it's like, what does Flatgrass really have to offer?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, I haven't played GM Layer, so I can't really speak to it, unfortunately. I'd like to keep this to maps that I've played, so that I'm not speaking on topics so I'm not speaking on something that I haven't actually experienced. But, you know, it's getting a shout out. Chris and I will definitely play it after the stream, as well as the other stuff that we've been looking at. Here's one that's I think incredibly iconic.
Okay.
GM 711.
I was gonna, dude, that was the one that I was gonna say. And I'm like, does this count? It has to count, dude.
Absolutely.
This map is the shit.
I'm
excited about this map. I'm just excited. Dude, I see that screenshot. To me, you gotta put yourself in the shoes of a 12-year-old boy here. You go to 7-Eleven all the time. And you get to play it in video game form? I mean, come on.
It looks nicer than the 7-Eleven that we have nearby.
Sure, I wouldn't doubt it. Look at that.
Oh, this might be the map that's replacing all my fucking Breen's Private Reserve shit with Kleiner Soda.
Fucking, you got the Domo. This is when Domo was in full swing.
Yeah.
What was Domo?
Domo, he was just some he's just some like character.
Target, right? Like that was like Target on the rights or something at one point.
I don't know. Let me see.
What the fuck was that thing?
Oh no, he's the mascot of NHK, which is a public broadcast in Japan.
But why was it so massively popular in the States for like that short period? Because you remember that, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Even my mom was into Domo-kun.
Domo
I think
and
we had a plush of Domo-kun.
It was like Domo and Adventure Time for some reason exist in my head in the same space. So like I think that was probably around the same time.
Had to have been. Let me see. Let me see. Why was Domo-kun so popular? Okay, well I'm not watching a 3-minute video while I'm streaming.
Unless you're like a popular streamer, that's what they do the whole time.
There was a photoshopped picture of 2 domos chasing a kitten that went viral in 2002.
Could have been a factor.
I think it's some people suspect it's the some people suspect is it's the stop motion. It's the stop motion.
Yeah.
It's
there's an article about it. I don't know. It obviously was popular for a reason.
Yeah.
And
7-Eleven kind of has that. The 7-Eleven map has that kind of vibe that I get from Free. It feels like what Free Space is setting out to do, but on a much, much, much smaller scale. Almost, where like it is very much a place, and it has a huge like exterior with some content. I don't know. I don't know where I would put it though, but what I found interesting was that you have this. It's got an interesting amount of stuff. So you've got the main 7-Eleven area, and then you've got like a train station type thing in the back with tracks that appear to go around the whole map. Yeah, they go around the whole map. Let me pull up another. You have this like soccer field. I don't know why that's there, but it's kind of cool.
nice little bonus.
Yeah. There's a swimming pool. I can't find an image of the pool, but there is a swimming pool. Oh wait, I found it. These screenshots are like if Highway 14800 was the Halo 3 maps, then I don't know what this is.
That's like the Unreal tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this is like the Unreal Tournament.
It's
fly
edgier.
through.
Yeah.
I can just imagine like the Unreal Tournament menu music as it's flying through a 7-Eleven.
It's very. Go ahead.
But then you've also got that like area beneath, like directly beneath the 7-Eleven. That's like this underground complex. And at some
Yeah.
point, you start
Got
seeing
Guantanamo
these
Bay.
fucking eyes.
Yeah, this is. I remember this. I don't know why.
And
It's
you got
like,
like a construct-styled bunker.
it's like the guy, like whoever made this was like, yeah, I'm gonna give like the least effort aside from like the 7-Eleven building. Above ground, I'm gonna give the least effort possible, and then I'm just gonna do some wacky shit underground that
For
like
real.
required more work for me to do than like the map itself. I don't know. Very strange.
Yeah, it's weird. But I don't know, where would you put it? I feel like
I'd put it in like B tier.
B tier.
A tier, maybe A, B or A. It's like kind of in the same realm as like.
I feel like it's on the beauty scale. It's maybe 3 or 4. Suitability. I think it covers enough bases, but also not really. I don't know. It's in a weird spot. I don't know what to make of it. It's I think as far as suitability goes, it's about around the same place as a big city. I don't know. It's like 4, because you got like an open area. You got like an area to do like, I guess machinimas at role plays. You could probably stuff some NPCs in there and have a decently interesting shootout. I don't know how the nav mesh is.
Probably. I mean, if it doesn't say otherwise in the description, I'm assuming probably not that great. It's like that's.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I can't find anything on the nav mesh. So I don't know. It's probably not much going on there.
Let's just let's do B. I think it's like a B.
Yeah, above Sigma or
below.
all right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's more iconic.
It's more iconic, but if it's your list is the definitive one. I'm just like throwing in my 2 cents, but like if you think in your heart it's above, then that's what it is.
I'll keep it there just for now. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and raise it just because of the iconicness.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's think about some other maps. Oh my god.
They're flowing now.
You know, I honestly don't know if I don't know if this would this is very iconic, but I think we might have our first low C, high D. GM Ragdoll Slaughter V3.
Yeah.
That
You
is
know
a
what?
map that is designed for a very specific purpose, and it looks ugly as shit. So not much there. It also doesn't really work if you don't have a Gore mod. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is on suitability. This is like one at best, or two at best. One is more reasonable. In terms of beauty, I mean, just look at it. That's like an easy one.
Yeah.
If GM York is a GM York is like a 2 compared to this. This is like a 1. But it is very iconic. So I don't know. I would
it's kind
say,
of a
like,
gimmick map.
Yeah, it is very much a gimmick map.
So, in my opinion, if it's a gimmick map, it starts at C.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gets too far after that. But if you know Landy videos, then you would know this map. Let's just say that. There's an iconic video that stars this map.
Yeah.
We're not even going to say what it is.
All of its points are just in how iconic it is, honestly. And that's not much.
And
so.
and it's not that iconic, so probably a C, flat out.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
What the fuck? There's a remake of the Silent Cartographer level from Halo Combat Evolved.
All right, so that's an S. Easiest S we've had to give so far.
I'm gonna keep that off the list because I haven't played it. I mean, it looks
Yeah,
like
I haven't
a great
played it either.
remake, but
That would make us biased.
yeah. Let me see. Oh man, good. Somebody knew the video. Yes. Let me find some other maps.
Yeah.
This is interesting. GM Floating Worlds.
I've played that one a few times. Can comment on it. Let's look at the screenshots here. I do remember this one. I'm not too high on this map,
Yeah,
personally.
it's got beauty until you look really close and you realize that the white rock textures are ugly as hell. I think the cube maps are broken on it too. The cube maps are corrupted.
Yeah.
So that kind of automatically it loses points for that.
And just like look at it, it's pretty cramped and like
It's more like an experience than it is like a sandbox map. It doesn't feel like it's meant for sandbox. It feels like it's just meant to be a cool place to walk around in.
it almost looks like it would be better off like
It'd be a
not
dope
floating.
RP map.
but like it would be better off just not floating too. Like, you know what I mean? Like put land in the places where there isn't on this map and it's instantly a better map. That's just
Floating Worlds, you reckon it's a gimmick map?
Yeah, I would say definitely because it's like, yeah, it's floating. That's the draw. That's the big draw here. That's in the name. And then like you have cool castles and like cool kind of like a ruined castlescape sort of area, but it's like otherwise pretty cramped. and the geometry is kind of weird, and there's like no room, like you have no room to do anything. So I would give this a fucking D. Fuck this map.
A D.
End of discussion. Yeah, that's just me.
Damn, that's harsh, but I mean, yeah, high D I think is pretty much the yeah. Honestly, I get it. I'm the Snoop Dogg gif. I get it.
I get it.
Have you played GM Excess Islands? I'm subscribed to it, but I haven't really played it too much.
Maybe. These all start to blend together. This just from the what I'm seeing in this picture, it just looks like the same building, copy and pasted a few times. But I can't comment on this map safely because I just don't even know if I've played it. Maybe I have.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it enough to really. I might have played it like once or twice. Nothing really drew
Cappy
me back
says
into
canned
it.
bread. Canned bread. Probably
Canned
it.
bread.
I trust this. I trust him. He knew that the the nav mesh on what's it called was bad. So I trust him. His opinion. He says it's canned bread.
Richland map?
What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
RP Richland?
Micah the Hedgehog says, "I love men." Do I agree? I don't know.
I'm looking at this map called Ocean Waves that I've never played, but it looks like the ocean actually has waves. I don't know how they did that, but I mean they did it. That's sick.
Yeah, that sounds cool. They made shit work and oh,
RP Downtown.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's like RP, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
more made for
Rest in
like
peace,
that.
the pro.
RP Downtown. I will say that we have played in Sandbox a few times, or a good amount of times. It's one of those maps that kind of is like, would you count it as a Sandbox map?
Oh,
maybe.
TTT Richland.
Oh,
Let me find a good picture of this. 127,000 subscribers.
it's a lot.
Yeah, RP Richland, it looks interesting. I don't know how well it lends itself to Sandbox, though. That's kind of the metric here. Yeah, this is the map, RP Richland. I think this is just the same as TTT Richland, but TTT is a little more formatted.
Yeah,
TTT,
looks a little small.
don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Dude,
it looks fairly good visually. It looks okay. Yeah, I don't know. I do remember playing this on TTT though.
Yeah,
So it's very
I do too.
iconic, but you know, as
Kinda
far as
reminds
using
me
it
of
in
Militia.
Sandbox, yeah. As far as
little
Sandbox goes, though, I mean, I don't know. I don't think this really lends itself too well. Not a whole lot to really do in it. It's like kind of an RP type map at best. I don't know, or machinima map at best. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say, I'd put it above Ragdoll Slaughter.
What the fuck? Dude, I just saw a map called GM The Green Mile. It's just based on the movie. Like, why would you make a map about that? It's very strange. Yeah. Okay, come on. Where are these maps at? I'm like looking for ones I recognize on this list. And
for this map, oh, that's crunchy. Yeah, like D for Sandbox. I don't know. I mean, I'd put it above I'd put it above Floating Worlds. Because
Yeah, yeah. For the sake of the list, yes.
I'll put it above. I'll put it above Ragdoll Slaughter too, simply on the merit of it. Well, for one, it looks way better, and two, I mean, Ragdoll Slaughter is also a gimmick map. The Green Mile, well, it's a movie. I've never watched it, but
there's this map. Okay, on a more serious note. Yeah, it's like that guy gets executed in that movie. I don't know if that's. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, it's part of the prison from the movie. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know why that's a map that somebody made.
And it's probably good. I just haven't played it. It's just something funny that I saw. But there's GM Slopes that I think we've both played.
GM Slopes? I'm not subscribed to it, so I'm not familiar with this, unfortunately.
Well, this is one of the first ones I played. It's just got like 2 huge slopes. It's nothing special. Probably would be like a C on this list, but
The low C.
like
Not
a
lot of
gimmick.
variety.
Yeah, it's like one of those gimmick kind of maps that, you know, you're there to do one thing, and like that one thing is in the name. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks better to an extent. So
Yeah.
it looks better than like Ragdoll Slaughter.
Yeah, I would put it in that
I'll put
C.
that between.
Yeah.
Put that between these two.
Dude, there are some new maps that I'm like hankering to play.
Yeah, for real, man. I've been checking the workshop for stuff. So RP Downtown, I think, just has to be. Who deleted my comment about pooping on men? I don't know. It might have just gotten blocked out. I didn't delete anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would get deleted. So RP Downtown, as far as Sanbox goes, I feel like, I mean, it's designed for roleplay, so it's hard to find stuff to do on it in Sanbox. So I think on that merit alone, this is V4C, which I'm going to use just because, like, it's I think the most accessible and most downloaded version. It's more downloaded than the.
Yeah, this is like what like every dark RP server used, right?
Must have been. It was either this or use this.
No, I don't think it was this. I think it was it was something else. It was maybe this map, but a different version, like you said.
Oh, I think I know what it was. I think it was RP Downtown V2. That's that was the version, the more yellowed lighting version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm more familiar with. That was, I mean, you could play Sandbox in that. It's just like wasn't the marquee reason why you'd play it.
I don't know. Very iconic. Very you know, it looks okay. Maybe like 2 or 3 on beauty, but I mean, as far as suitability for Sandbox, I think we're gonna have to give this, kind of a low rating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good banner. Red is often a maestro of banners.
Shout out Red Wolf in the chat. Holding it down.
Restart window.
Well, nobody deleted that comment. YouTube just decides when it wants, when it doesn't like a comment. I'm all for pooping on men.
Yep. I mean, I'm a bird, so that's kind of just, you know, kind of a mainstay thing. I am going to put this, I think I'll put it between Slopes and, well, it gets iconic points for sure. I'll put it between Slopes and Richland. I think. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think that's a good placement. You know, at first, I thought all these maps were going to be going into like S tier, and it was just going to be too overloaded. But we've got a good spread going here.
Yeah.
I think we can fit a few more in. Let's see. I'm looking at the list. I know there's going to be one that I can remember.
Oh, dinner's here. Give me a moment.
So, if anybody else has any Sandbox map suggestions, let us know. Because we're trying to keep it in that category of games or of maps. Because like, there's plenty of TTT maps that we could talk about. I think we could go for hours. But like, now that I'm looking at it, now that I think about it, in terms of like sandbox maps, there was only so many that we used to play. It wasn't really that many. So if you guys have any like any of those like borderline maps that are kind of in between, let me know. Let us know. Got there's supersized room that I think Landy may know about that I found. When he gets back, we might rank that one.
Okay. Hello. I got a good few iconic ones. But I've also just been sent this by Chris. I don't know where Chris is.
I'm here. I'm letting my dog out. So, yeah, I put supersized room in there. I know you've played that. I've played it.
Yeah, supersize room.
Pretty iconic. I mean, if you know,
Supersize room is incredibly iconic, and I think it actually lends itself to Sanbox quite well. Because
really
you just
does.
got like a lot of like, you got like some Mobinix type places to go and things to do. It seems big old water, big old water in the tub. I think it's a little gimmicky, but I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's enough to, because it still has like value aside from the gimmicks. Like it has value as a map to do things in Sandbox.
I think it's, in terms of concept, S tier. And the way that it blends that concept,
It's definitely S tier and iconic.
Dude, I think this might be S. Maybe A, but to
I think
me,
high A, low
yeah.
S. It's not that pretty looking. That's kind of my only problem with it. And also it's a lot of nothing space. While there is a good balance of things to do and nothing space, like how Mobinix has, except less. Yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, like low A, or not low A. Sorry, high mid A or low S. I think is fine. Just to play it safe, I'm gonna put it. I think I'll put it. I don't know. Do you think it's lower than Atomic? Chris? Uh-oh.
Oh, that's all right. I had to let my dog back in.
Oh.
I think it's probably lower, but it's really either or.
Yeah, it's still pretty high, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have to say lower if I had to say.
Yeah. Nope. And you get the right. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair placement. Above Evo City, because it's got a little more space for building and stuff, but below Atomic because it's got less environmental variety, perhaps.
Yeah.
And just things to do. Mobinix fucking earned its spot.
Definitely. Mobinix is entrenched. I don't think it's moving.
Yeah. So here's a few others. I'm gonna start off with Best Buy. Now, this is kind of a gimmick map.
I don't think I played this one.
Here.
Maybe I did.
I think the first Gmod machinima that I ever made that I don't think exists anymore, I made on this map.
That's already iconic then.
It is incredibly iconic. I remember this was a map that I couldn't play because you needed Counter-Strike Source. And then I got Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the first time I got this map, I downloaded a version that didn't have any of the textures in it. So it already didn't work, and I thought it was because I didn't have Counter-Strike. So when I got Counter-Strike, I replayed the map, and it still didn't work. And then I found out that whoever had uploaded it to garysmod.org fucked it up and didn't download it didn't add the textures, so I had to go find the textures somewhere else. What about Flatgrass Pit? Flatgrass Pit, that's a pretty good contender. I don't know what Let me see. Let me find this. Yeah, Flatgrass Pit. I mean,
Flatgrass the pit.
yeah,
So
it's Flatgrass with a pit.
it's better than Flatgrass. Well, is it?
I don't know, because the new version of Flatgrass, I don't know.
Does the pit replace the building?
Yeah, well, it's based off of the original version of Flatgrass,
Yeah.
which literally just had the little stone plate in the middle.
I say it could nestle right next to Flatgrass, but below it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
like
you
about-
could do more with a building than a pit, but that's just
honestly, yeah. And it also doesn't look that great. I don't know. I mean, you can do a lot of Sanbox stuff with it, I'd imagine, but
I'd say a D, because that's like kind of disrespectful to the other maps if you put that above.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's a little I will put it I'll put it above Ragdoll Slaughter.
Okay.
Because Ragdoll Slaughter again is like just strict like gimmick, and it's so gimmick to the point where it's literally designed for a singular purpose, like Slope. But also, I mean, Slopes has more interesting design to it. Like I haven't played Slopes, but it looks like Slopes will probably give you more to do with whatever you want to do on it. It looks like it's got a decent amount of open space, but it also has those ramps. Meanwhile, this just has a pit, and that could be cool for skydiving, but you can't really like drive a car down it or anything.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Best Buy, I think, mostly just has iconic points. It looks good and is
Fucking Best
iconic,
Buy.
but for Sandbox, it's not a whole lot you can do. I'm gonna put that maybe.
It's your favorite big box store in video game form.
Yeah, GM New World. Oh god, I remember. I think I remember that one. You know, honestly, I think I'm gonna skip out on Best Buy.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna just skip Best Buy and not put it on here because it's a little unfair. It's not really. It's not fully in. I mean, I know we have roleplay maps, but I know we have roleplay maps, but also, like, I don't know. Best Buy kind of hits because most roleplay maps you'll find they're like good roleplay maps you'll find played on Sandbox as well, which is why we have downtown and stuff. Like downtown might be in C, Evo City in A, but also the fact those are pretty high places for maps that aren't intended for Sandbox, especially Evo City. So I don't know. I think Best Buy, and I was gonna put McDonald's in here. The fucking I think that
McDonald's.
I think that was for Counter-Strike though.
Yeah.
So that's already not very fair at all, because that's like an overly specific purpose, whereas roleplay maps generally serve wider purposes because of the nature of roleplay. So yeah, I don't know. I think it would be unfair to try and rank Best Buy and McDonald's on the same merit, because they're kind of single serve specific things.
Yeah.
And even though New Worlds and Ragdoll Slaughter are strictly like gimmicks as well, I mean, Ragdoll Slaughter they're both meant to be Sandbox maps, but the problem with Ragdoll Slaughter is that it's specifically made for Gore mods, and then the problem with Floating Worlds. Problem with Floating Worlds is that just it's saying this would be a great place for firefights and building, and it's just not really. I've played on this, and it's kind of unwieldy to navigate because of how simple Source's movement is and how simple the map is. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say C.
C for what?
D. For Best Buy if we were gonna put it on.
No, I'm not gonna put it. I'm not gonna put
No.
on Best Buy or McDonald's because it'd be kind of unfair.
I think all those gimmick maps could go into C, honestly, because it's like it's cool for the gimmick, but then not. It doesn't really go up from there. Just like and it lives and dies there.
So I found New Worlds, but it's not a GM map. It's a space build map. I haven't played space build. I should because it sounds fun conceptually.
We've played this map though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Worlds is pretty cool. I mean, on the iconic points, I mean, come on, this is like unforgettable. It's all these areas. It is a little gimmicky, but that's fine because its whole gimmick is giving you a lot of places to do stuff. Doesn't look all that great. Looks about between Big City and York, I feel.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's cool. You have this like asteroid base. You got a lot of places to go. I think there's a water. Is there a water area in this one, or am I thinking of somewhere else? Because that will take a little bit of points away for suitability, for sure.
Yeah, because you actually need to like do work to get to parts of the map, or just fly there. But
Oh yeah, well in Sanbox you can literally just fly there.
So I guess.
Yeah, I think there's a water area. I'm pretty sure there's a water area on this starting zone here, over behind this tree. I feel like I remember that. But either way, I mean, it's got a lot of environmental variety. You got a lot of places to go, a lot of like things to use. The fact that all the worlds are separated too means that if you've got a flying machine, you can just that's invaluable.
Yeah.
It's like incredibly useful.
Great immersion.
Yeah.
Getting to the different planets and stuff.
It's a great sandbox map considering it's actually meant to be for space build. I remember this was a map that like I had a lot of fun on with friends.
Yeah, I remember like actually having to build the spacecraft and then going to different planets and stuff, and that part was cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let me resize this, and we gotta decide where this should go. Then I would put it slightly above 7-Eleven. But I don't know. What do you think? Maybe above Flatgrass. Like between Flatgrass and York.
Yeah. Above, yeah. That's a good placement.
All right. Okay. Yeah, pretty good map. Let's think of some others.
I think we got like one or two more in us. I'm looking. It's hard. When they're mixed in with all the other maps, you start to lose some of the sandbox stuff, and there's a lot of like TTT and RP maps. You wouldn't want to do like Krusty Krab. That's like.
If we can't put Best Buy, we can't put Krusty Krab.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And then it's funny, most of the like maps that we complained, like, oh, it doesn't have like Flatgrass. Oh, it doesn't have any water. Well, there's a map on here just called Flatgrass with water that just instantly makes the map better. That we could easily put above, but that
Yeah,
would just be
again, I don't want to do variants.
yeah, that would just be like a waste.
Hmm.
I'm looking, not really seeing anything else, to be honest.
Did you ever play GM Monkey?
I think I did. Yeah, I played this.
Yeah.
I think. Is
This
this
map is
old?
kind of like a. It looks old. Oh, it looks old. As far as like beauty, I would say it's maybe a 1 or 2.
Yeah, a lot of
It's not a very pretty looking map, but it is well made.
looks like it. Yeah,
All right, see ya.
I don't know.
Peace.
I don't know if I've really played this one that much.
Yeah, I'm gonna chuck it on because I have, and I feel like it's kind of got the Mobinix thing in terms of what it sets out to do, where you've got all sorts of little areas that serve different purposes. It does feel a little more like a Half-Life 1 map, though.
Yeah, yeah, it's got that kind
It's got that kind of jank,
Look
got that
to
kind
it.
of look
Mhm.
and feel. I'm gonna put this between slopes and because it doesn't look great. It's not very iconic. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. It's not really iconic to me, and I'm the one of us two that knows the map, and it's. I mean, it's got a decent amount to do, but it's not really just. It's more like just a fun time map that might happen to work for Sanbox. It's just like just a. It's like a hangout map, almost like a VR chat world
Yeah,
type deal.
that's sort of how like a lot of these maps are.
Yeah.
Like this one especially.
Yeah.
Man, nah, I just want to play Gary's mode.
Yeah, there's some maps we gotta check out. Oh, this one is this one's actually I don't know if you've played this, but GM City Limits.
Yeah, I've played that.
This
Yeah,
map
that's
is
a good.
cool. Very. This is like a what you'd expect out of like a default Gmod map almost. This is like a default Gmod map, but expanded. So
It seemed.
I would.
I feel like it set out to be like a better construct, and it kind of succeeds in some areas, and then others not really. Like it adds more to like it adds more interiors, interesting interiors, and like
I think it's
stuff like that. But
a little too directly functional to work all that well as a GM construct because you've got the big ass hotel, which is it has you got the big hotel, which has all the bells and whistles, which I think is a little bit of a step too far because GM constructs buildings and stuff were all like empty as hell and for good reason. But this
yeah,
one is like, you got like a hotel with all the doors and a working elevator, and it's almost a little devalued because of that. Like, why not let me build my own elevator instead and add my own doors
yeah,
and stuff? And I mean, I see why that's all there. It's meant to have a little more polish, but I don't know. As far as usability goes, though, I think it's about on par with Construct, aside from the building being populated with things.
yeah. First thing it reminded me of was construct.
Yeah.
Fun fact: this map was made by the same guy who made GM 711.
Was it?
Yeah, and he
Oh,
also
you're
made
right. That makes
he also
sense.
made Inner City too. I don't know if you played that.
Inner City. I have not played that.
Yeah, but uh, this is like a solid B to me. I'd say B or an A.
He also
B.
made a map called GM Hillscape, which looks cool. But I haven't played it. You'd say it's a solid B?
Yeah,
I'll put it a little. I'll put it directly above 7-Eleven. I was originally going to rate this based on the nav mesh, but I don't really know much about the nav meshes, so kind of just winging it and not really counting it as part of the shebang. Okay, yeah, I'll put it directly above 7-Eleven. Pretty good map, almost equal to construct. I should also mention that the regular version of City Limits is nighttime, but I'm using the daytime just so that you can see it better.
yeah,
And also because daytime was the first version I played. There's a map called oh, you've probably played this, TTT Nuclear Power. I wouldn't call it a sandbox map though. Kind of more
yeah,
like a VR chat world type thing. A lot of TTT maps are. I think it'd just be unfair to put TTT maps on here because those are also designed for an overly specific type of gameplay as opposed to like a roleplay or sandbox map. A
yeah.
little more general.
I think honestly, I think we've got a fat ass list right now.
We've got a
Like
pretty good list.
because like now we're reaching. I don't know if there's that many more.
Have you played GM Geek Room?
Um,
It's kind of like Super Size Room in terms of spirit. I actually think it's only confined to this one room.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I've played that one.
I'm gonna put that. You know, we're gonna do a bit of a restructure. I'm gonna put this because this. I'm pretty sure this is just the room. So not a lot to do at all. It's kind of a gimmick, but it does look good.
Yeah,
It's kind of iconic to me. I'm going to move this to C. I don't know where to put it. I'll put it just below downtown, I reckon. D, like, mid D is pretty much where you start to get into the territory of this is a just single serve map.
yeah. There's not much you can do because it's so confined to its concept. I'll be right back.
I'm going to move Ragdoll Slaughter actually lower because it doesn't have the looks, really. I'm going to move Ragdoll Slaughter lower than Floating Worlds. Because I think we were unfair to Floating Worlds, honestly.
I don't know. I don't
Like,
think
not too
I
unfair,
was unfair,
but I wouldn't put it under Ragdoll Slaughter, personally.
Yeah, Ragdoll Slaughter seems like it's the floor for these for our rating system.
Man, if we were doing TTT maps, like just a tier list for TTT maps, that would be probably a lot easier to do, but also just there's a lot of good TTT maps. That would be a great
That's
video.
almost yeah, I was gonna say that's almost like a stream in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for more maps. Oh. I know one that might be good. I don't know if you've played this one. GM Alpine Struct.
Yeah, I think I've played it once or twice.
Let me see if I
Got
can
it.
find
There's like not that many screenshots. There's like one screenshot
yeah,
of it.
I'm trying to see if I can find more. So this is a fuller screenshot of the thumbnail.
Looks cool. I mean, it doesn't really look like there's that much going on. I mean, there's that one structure. Have you played it?
I have played it. I'm gonna see if I can take some pictures from this guy's video because there are no screenshots on the page. So there's this area, lots of water, pretty good for like just water contraptions. It's big, that's for sure. Lots of ice, lots of snow. Not really much going on. It looks beautiful, but there's not really much going on besides snow, more snow, mountains, and oh, here's a zoom out of the whole map. Yeah, not much going on besides the structure. That's pretty barren. I think I know about where this should go.
This falls into the same category as like a construct sort of map, where it's like you have basically an interesting structure and then like some space to build around it. Nothing special. Nothing that'll blow you away.
I'm just going to put that here. I think that might be fair. Because it looks good. I would say it's decently iconic. But it's really it's kind of flat grass tier. In fact, I almost put Flatgrass in B. Honestly,
Flatgrass, yeah, could dude. It's just done nothing but drop since we started this.
I think a lot of Flatgrass's saving grace is just the fact that it's iconic.
It's old as fuck.
Yeah, it's the main like draw that it's got going for it. I think I'm starting to get into I'm starting to get into territory where you played GM Vacant?
Maybe. I gotta see the screenshot. Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
Kind of like just a slightly worse looking Atomic. That's all sand.
Yeah.
Of, a little more urban. I won't be too harsh on it though. I think it looks okay. I think it's got a lot of variety in terms of the places. Like it's got a lot of interiors, decent variety. Because you've got like the above ground stuff that all just kind of looks like, stuff like this. It's very urban. The gas station sign made with brushes instead of texture.
Yeah. I mean, that's retro right there.
Same with the motel. This guy's good with the text, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good brush text.
It's not bad. The gas wasn't anything special, but that motel sign and vacancy is pretty good.
Yeah. Then you got this like underground area that I'm seeing. I don't think I've even seen that in the map playing it for myself. You got like what looks like a kitchen.
Yeah.
Here this guy is just showing a bunch of like props in this like rundown pool. Although those are posed in, but I mean, hey, it worked. So, you know, I think this like it's a tough one. I will personally put it I'll put it like low B.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right. Somebody recreated the room of the angry German kid. I just think this deserves its own spot in the video.
You said they recreated the room from the angry German kid?
Yep.
That's S. Yeah.
There's GM Underground, but I feel like that teeters on roleplay adjacent, but I don't know. I mean, have you played it before?
Yeah, it's roleplay. I wouldn't even call that Sandbox, to be honest.
Yeah, barely Sandbox. It's more like it's like a VR chat world, like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
We should
The problem with GM maps is that a lot of them, like, I don't think it's fair to rate some of them on the merit of them as sandbox maps, because because when somebody makes a GM map, either it's for sandbox or it's just like them just making an environment that they just want the player to explore exclusively. And I feel like this is a case of the latter, whereas the other ones are more sandbox suited.
Yeah, they're thinking about Sandbox when they're making it, rather than the concept that they're going off of. Yeah. All right.
I'm sure there's a lot more sandbox maps that Oh, somebody made Cairo Station from Halo 2. That's pretty dope. Another map I'll need to play.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That's a pretty good list. We got there. I knew pretty much going in that there wasn't going to be any E's or F's, just because like if those maps that truly fit that category are like, there's so many of them. First off, and second off, you're not really spending too much time on them when you're playing them. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like an E or an F ranked map could even reach that status of like even deserving to be ranked.
Yeah.
He's like just about as low as it gets. Those are like bad maps that like, or like maps that we thought were bad that others might have like really loved, and that's why it was downloaded so many times.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd say it's, I don't know. I don't think it gets lower than D, really.
Yeah. I think this is an alright list. I don't know. One last map. What do you think of Calamity Coast?
Oh, this map's cool because it has a lot of different landmarks that are cool to mess around with.
Yeah.
I do remember this map pretty well.
You have like
Yeah.
the destructible bridge, so it's a little bit of a gimmick, but that's okay.
Hmm. I think it adds to the map though in
Yeah.
the long run. Yeah.
Because the map's not really designed around it. It is a focal piece, but it's not like the one thing you can do. You got these pyramids, which are cool. They don't look that great, but they're cool. Whole map just is a little drab. Looks like a really early like Half-Life 2 deathmatch custom map.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's not too great looking, but that's okay. I think you can also destroy the lighthouse. I think that's,
shit.
Yeah, I think that's a thing you could do. And there's also seems to be this house out here that you can also destroy. So that's pretty cool. You just got like destruction as a theme, but it's not too much of a gimmick.
Yeah.
You got this like
I-
huge area outside of this river.
I think that's like a solid B of a map.
I'd say so, yeah, like a B. Maybe in between Black Mesa Sigma and 7-Eleven, or maybe just in between City Limits and 7-Eleven. I don't know. What do you think?
In between.
In between which ones?
7-Eleven and City Limits. I think City Limits is maybe better, but this has more than like what 7-Eleven has to offer. Pretty much gets above the gimmick of it.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty good list.
It's got a good peak to it. A lot of
Yeah.
C's. It's kind of to be expected. It's about in the middle.
Yeah.
So we could do a little recap.
Yeah, we got Construct. I think is unbeatable simply just based on it looks great, it's iconic, and it's pretty suitable. Very, very.
It finds
suitable.
a way to do a lot with so little. With what seems like a lot with so little.
Yeah. Free Space is only slightly less iconic, but still really iconic. Looks great, very suitable. I think there's too much empty space in it, but that's okay. I mean, you got a lot of variety. You got an airstrip. You got the big old river with the house. You got this centerpiece with the bridge. You got like ramps and shit. Not a lot of place to race, but I mean that's not really a thing in Construct either, so it would be kind of unfair. Mobinix, it's all right for it's pretty good for Sandbox, like doing whatever you want. Looks fairly good, I'd say. It looks okay. Better than Big City visually, but I mean, you know, it's nothing like knock your socks off like Free Space or GM Construct or even some of the more artsy Gmod levels out there, but it's got a ton of variety and it's also incredibly iconic. You have just so much to do that you don't have to build yourself, like the bowling alley, the rave place, and I think that really earns it a spot just on that merit. Big City is incredibly iconic, looks decent, but also you're quite limited in what exactly you can do. The roads aren't all that interesting. I mean, it is very much a big city. And I think that's kind of, you know, I think it works as a big city. It would never work for roleplay, obviously, but I mean, well, it might if you modify it. But it's a great map for like big stuff. Not much for, you know, flight. Maybe it'll be okay. The sky limit's kind of short. and there's a lot of buildings in the way, but I don't know. Highway 14800 is it's got a lot of space. It's got tunnels. It looks great. It's not all that iconic, but I'd say that it does its job pretty well. You have a lot of building space, and you have a metric fuck ton of racing space. GM Atomic.
Yeah.
GM Atomic looks pretty good, quite iconic. There's a decent amount of areas, but also it's a lot of those areas are more like just bunkers, and like there's a bunker, a base, and then a gas station, and that's not a whole lot of variety. You really gotta like, I don't know how to describe how I feel about that one or why it's lower than Highway, even though Highway technically offers less. I mean, we could probably switch these places, but I don't know. I'll keep that as is. Supersize room, lots of variety, pretty iconic. Lends itself pretty nicely to Sanbox. It's almost got a Mobinix type thing going on, except less interactive. But you've got a lot of variety. Main problem is that it just doesn't look all that great.
Yeah, but legendary for its use in like machinimas and stuff. Like that's gotta be, and like you can do a lot, and it's a cool set piece to do stuff in. So I think it earned its rank.
Yeah.
In A tier.
RP Evo City, there's an ungodly amount of interiors here. All sorts of places for machinimas or light roleplay. And there's some decent open areas for building your own stuff if you want. But overall, one thing that I think is a strength of Evo City is that you can just build stuff inside the buildings and kind of just make the world feel more lived in without necessarily playing on Dark RP or something. And plus, it's just huge. You have all sorts of different areas to explore. And it looks pretty good. I think honestly, it wins more in being iconic and looking great. But suitability I think is just all right. I think suitability is you're gonna hit a lot of niches, and you're gonna hit maybe some general stuff if you find big enough areas. But how are we rating these? I'm rating them based on how iconic they are, how suitable they are for doing practically anything in Sanbox. So like building, shootouts, just machinima, underwater stuff, flight stuff. It's not a perfect metric system.
Yeah.
It's I think it's good enough for something as inconsequential as Gmod maps. The third tier is also beautiful, like how good the map looks. And so that is kind of averaged into an overall that's we just kind of make in our heads. A lot of it's based on feeling, so maybe there's some biases present. GM York, ugly as sin. Well, not ugly as sin, but it's lightly ugly. Pretty expansive in the same way that GM Big City is. It's decently iconic. I think you have a better connection to it than I do, so you could probably describe it better.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just got back. What map were you talking about?
York.
York is like what I think is like a better big city. In the sense of like actually being a city. There's more buildings to explore, more variety overall. But big city is just more iconic to me. But York is like solid A. simply for the amount of things that you can do in like a cityscape versus like just a flat grass type scenario.
Yeah. New Worlds, there's a lot of variety. Lots of different places to go. Concept is really cool. Visuals look okay. It's good for... I'd say it's pretty good for Sandbox. There's some good open areas that are grounded to build stuff. It is excellent for flight. And also, a lot of the areas, well, some of the areas tend to resemble little communities, so you can, probably do some decent machinimas on it too. And yeah, it looks all right. Overall, I think low A is a solid place for it. It also doesn't help that it's built for space build, so it's not really meant for Sandbox, but it kind of happens to work well. I mean, there was a version of it called GM New Worlds, so.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Flatgrass, incredibly iconic. Crazy iconic.
It fell down a lot from
it fell
when
down.
we
We originally
first
had
started.
it at like in S, and then we were just sorting out other maps and realized, okay, yeah, this is kind of mid. There's really not a lot to do. It's great for specifically doing like massive, like grandiose buildings, and it really doesn't offer itself to much else, which is a shame. Bunker area is kind of cool. It looks great, especially the latest version.
Yeah. It's a good map. Like, don't take what we're saying as like anything terribly bad. It's just like,
it's never my first option for Sandbox.
No. It's mid. It's just mid.
Yeah.
The definition of mid. But like it's so iconic that you can't not put it like, if you put it in C, you're being mean at that point. Let's just say that. But yeah.
City Limits looks all right. I feel like it does almost a little too much in terms of the structure, and because it wants to be pure Sandbox, but also it has like that, like I said, the mostly working building with all the bells and whistles, all the doors, and all the the working elevator.
Yeah.
So and that just kind of feels. It feels not only a little anti-Sandbox in that sense. I know I'm saying that even though Mobinix is in S, but Mobinix at least gives you a lot of stuff to do, whereas City Limits has an interactive building and not much else. It almost feels anti-Sandbox to have that level of interactivity just out of nowhere, and everything else is such a blank slate. But it does look great. It's fairly iconic, and it is a good, it's a modestly good Sandbox map, about on the level of something like, just Construct. It just feels like an extension of Construct. I do wish the building was a little more simple, though, but, that polish does have value. Right behind that, Calamity Coast. I like the bridge, the spectacle that it offers, even though it doesn't lend itself too much to the suitability of Sandbox. It is fun. Well, actually, you know what? I'll actually argue with my own point. The destructive bridge and the destructible bridge and other stuff like destructible house and what else was destructible? Oh god, I forget.
There was the lighthouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, lighthouse.
I'd argue that destructibility actually adds another layer of Sandbox fun, because you can just test. You can stress test stuff like contraptions. Like if you're making contraptions that are meant to destroy things, you can use this as a kind of test bed because the map brushes are fairly strong. Or like weapons testing. Like you want to test like a weapon, see if it'll blow up this lighthouse or even this whole bridge. So yeah. The only problem is that the map, I mean, it's decently iconic, but it doesn't look that great. Like I said before, it looks like an early custom Half-Life 2 deathmatch map. It is pretty good. It has a lot of like wide space for just building things that aren't destroying parts of the map, though. So that's cool. Overall, pretty good map. 7-Eleven looks great. Very iconic. But it's not all that great as a sandbox map. Like you've got maybe like a Flatgrass level of stuff to do, or maybe highway. Actually, no, maybe not highway. Flatgrass level maybe. You got like the pool. You got the train tracks. You got the 7-Eleven itself, and its parking lot, which both lend pretty well to machinimas, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah,
and then the underground area. But it does feel more like just VR chat map-y. And we've discounted a few maps because of that, but 7-Eleven like does still feel like it has a sandbox focus. Like, it was designed with sandbox in mind. So, I'd say it deserves a spot on here just because of that. If you play it on sandbox, you're gonna be able to build some stuff while some other people are just checking out the 7-Eleven for its novelty. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Black Mesa Sigma looks fantastic, is decently iconic, but it's more like a place. That's kind of the problem with that. It's more like just a place. You can't be building too much. You can maybe build some. One of the points that was brought up earlier, which unfortunately was not used as a metric for the rest because I don't have a real way to weigh the differences between maps, but I know the nav mesh in Black Mesa Sigma is pretty bad, so that kind of negates any, like, if you want to do a shootout, you can't really do it that well. 7-Eleven isn't realistic. There are no crackheads waiting to stab you, from my experience anyways. Well, you can have crackheads who are waiting to shoot you, which is a little more of an American take, but,
That's true. Yeah.
I think Scud's from the UK, so the stabbing thing is a little more.
It's topical. Or they can throw acid in your face.
Yeah.
And maim you for life. What would you rather do? Get maimed for life or get killed? It's a good question.
I'd rather live, personally.
Yeah.
That's kind of the better option.
It's kind of the goal, isn't it?
Yeah. GM Vacant. Almost forgot the name of it. GM Vacant. Decent variety. Doesn't look that great. Aside from particularly the motel sign. Very impressive brushwork on that motel sign. And
yeah.
Yeah, looks all right.
It feels like it's pretty much like,
but it does have a lot of locales, a lot of places to just do stuff, just empty spaces, empty underground spaces. It's cool. So it's not too bad.
It's like the definition of a B, like a low B.
Yeah.
It's a passable map.
RP Richland, otherwise known as TTT Richland. It looks fairly modest, I would say. It looks pretty good. Very, very iconic. But, as a sandbox map, it's just okay. It is certainly more designed for roleplay, but happens to work fine for sandbox. And I know that I've discounted some roleplay maps in the past, but, it really depends. I feel like there's a point where I look at a roleplay map and like Industrial 17. I look at a map like that, and it's like, this is just not, they did not have sandbox in mind for this at all. And I feel like Richland is just on the edge of just approaching that. So that's why it's in.
Yeah.
But it does look good. So, and it's very, very iconic. So, downtown's wildly iconic. Doesn't look all that great. But it does lend itself pretty well to sandbox, I would say. Like just making things. It's got that kind of big city charm, but it has actual interiors and a whole sewer system, and it's so low on the list because its sandbox suitability, while it is decent, it's also very confined. You're not going to see people flying planes in this map, at least not well. You're not going to see people building submarines. You're going to maybe see people driving cars, but even that's kind of unwieldy. GM Geek Room, I think it was called.
Yeah.
It's kind of gimmicky, but I'd imagine this lends itself really well to Sanbox. It's just the one room, though, which is why it's so below Supersize Room, because Supersize Room is like pretty much the whole house. But yeah, it's all right. It's modest. I think it's got a decent spot here. You can build a lot of stuff on it. You can fly stuff around. You know, make a racetrack if you want. Maybe have a decent shootout if you feel like adding some geometry, like building a level out of props or something. But you know, it's nothing too spectacular. But it does look pretty good, and it's decently iconic. So
Yeah, it's basically just in my mind like the same as like the oversized room or whatever. But
yeah, it's like a prettier supersized room, but it's only one room.
oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
GM Monkey looks like a Half-Life 1 map. Doesn't look that great. Not really all that iconic, but it does have a lot of variety. You got a lot of places to go, almost the Mobinix type thing, but slightly less interactive from what I recall. But there is a lot of good variety in the areas that you can go to. I think it's just very bogged down by the fact that it looks like a converted Half-Life 1 map that was spruced up in Source after the fact. It's unfortunate because it does have a lot of soul to it, but you know, it's just kind of bogged down.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Monkey. Slopes. I don't know how iconic this is. I know that Chris played it.
It's old. It's like basic early like workshop Gmod. It's worthy of its place. It's like one thing with some open space around it. So it's not totally just that, you know, it's not totally just the ramps that are the big like draw, but it's basically just the ramps. It's like a low C for me.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool map.
It's a cool map. I mean, if you want to do driving tests, you could probably build some stuff too. It looks like there's a decent amount of space, but you know, it's kind of a gimmick. The main thing is just the ramps. Looks all right.
Yeah.
Flatgrass Pit, not much going on. Looks bad. Is flat grass with a pit. So, I mean, you can use it as flat grass, but then you also have a giant pit, which you can't really do a whole lot with besides fall down it and send people down. I mean, it's flat grass. If we weigh it on the metric of it's flat grass and you can do anything on flat grass, then it's still not very good because it looks terrible. It's very iconic, but it just doesn't look that great, and there's really not a lot you can do that would give you a reason to play it over much of these other maps.
Yeah.
Alpine Struct, I'd say, is decently iconic, looks great, but also its content stops pretty much after you leave the middle with this little very, very well-built structure. Mind you, it does look great, this map, but, you know, outside of the spawn point kind of area where you have this building, this like structure, you pretty much have snow, mountains, and they don't look that great. And you can't even climb the really, really good looking mountains. But you got like, you know, snow mountains, and like a fractured ice over a pond. So there's really not a lot that you can do. I'd imagine you could build a lot, but I mean, you know what? I'm going to put this over Flatgrass. I'm going to put this over Flatgrass Pit just because Flatgrass Pit is very single serve, but this is a little more general. And also this looks better than Flatgrass Pit. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I wasn't huge on Flatgrass Pit. I'm gonna grab food really quick.
All right. All right, yeah. Alpine Struct and then Flatgrass Pit. And then we get to, well, the bottom tier. GM New Worlds. Not New Worlds, sorry, Floating Worlds. Floating Worlds has a lot of ambition. The idea of doing this whole concept of floating organic worlds in Source, like that's a lot. That's a lot. And it looks, fairly good. It's decently iconic. But the problem is that it's trying to be a sandbox map, and it says, this would be great for shootouts or for building. But it's not really good for either of those in my experience. I feel like just the navigation in Source isn't good enough to support what this map is trying to do. It is a map that is more ambitious than the engine allows, and it just doesn't really work. It also, it only really looks fine when you look at it from a distance. When you get close up, you realize the white rock texture doesn't actually look that great. A lot of the textures don't look too great. And the cube maps are broken, at least last I checked. The cube maps are broken. They're all corrupted. So, unfortunately, I gotta just knock it down. I'm sorry. It's all spectacle, not a lot of substance going on. Doesn't feel like a map that I can boot up and feel like, yeah, I'm going to play some Sandbox on this map. It'd probably be fine for flying machines, but, why would I do that when I could do New Worlds? Or even like Highway or Free Space. And then at the bottom of the bottom, we have another single serve map, which also doesn't look very good. And also, doesn't really have anything to do in Sandbox at all besides do the specific things that this map is for, which is slaughtering ragdolls. And
even then, they're set up in specific ways. You can't really do it your own way too much.
Yeah. And also, it requires downloading a Gore mod, which, just kind of negates any value that you would get out of it if you were just playing regular old Gmod without a Gore mod. It's very much designed as it's like a tech demo map for Gore mods. And I think there's value there, but when you compare it with every other map on this list, which is much more suitable, even Floating Worlds is more suitable for Sandbox than this, and just doing whatever you want, you really got to ask yourself, okay, why am I playing this when I could just be playing Mobinix? Because it's got a kind of Mobinix aspect where you have all these heavily interactable things, but they're all designed to do the one thing. So, there's not much there. Anyway, that's the tier list of these maps in particular. I'm sure there's plenty of other Sandbox maps that could have been pitched, but we didn't really get a whole lot of suggestions, unfortunately, but that's okay. I think, how many maps is this? That's 25 Sandbox maps. That's a pretty good number to round it off with. Again, Gmod has an endless supply of maps, so this is not even a fraction of the maps. This is maybe 0.01% of all the maps ever made for Gmod, especially if you count variants, which we did not want to count simply because there are way too many variants of these maps that it would just there's no reason to use a different version of Big City over a certain over regular Big City, because at that point it's just it's not a great comparison. And plus there's so many variants that it's do we add Big City and then Big City Night, Big City Improved, Big City Four Towers, Big City, just so many different people's improved versions of Big City. It's just, it gets messy fast. So we just wanted to go with either the original version of the map or the quote-unquote definitive version of a map as depicted by the original creator. Or at least the most popular version of a map. Well, we certainly tried anyway. I don't know if Evo City I don't know if the version of Evo City we picked is the quote unquote best version, but it is certainly a version that is pretty popular. So that was the tier list, and I think I'm gonna end it off there. Peace. Thank you everybody for. Oh, you know what? I just remembered we have a bonus, but Chris has to get here first.
I'm here. I'm just eating. Yeah, we could do the bonus. I don't know how many people are left, but
Let me check. 3.
might
Oh,
be
well.
worth like doing another stream or something. Another time.
Yeah. You know what? We can make it as a bonus for when we rate TTT maps.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Hopefully the AI gets a little better. Then.
Yep. Well, see you guys next time.